Welcome to the show that looks at truth, fiction, and reality with a smirk. I'm Aaron Peterson.
I'm Amanda Sink.
And I'm Zack Parkerson.
And welcome to Smirk. This time it is Zack's turn, which means we're going dark, people. Get ready.
Yeah, I mean, it's not as dark.
Yeah, but that's coming from you.
Trending upwards.
So it's less Batman, more Arrow? What?
No, don't talk about Arrow right now.
Is that a sensitive subject for you?
It hurts.
Is this really what gets emotion out of Zack? Is Arrow?
A TV show?
Yeah.
Five seasons of glory, and then come on, and then whatever's happening now. It breaks my heart.
You know, I didn't know your heart could break.
I didn't either.
Only for Oliver Queen.
Aww. Let's hug it out. Well, are you ready to tell us whatever your latest tale is?
Let's do it. Gather around the campfire as always. Time for a story. Kyle is known to fall into trouble. Too quick with his mouth for his own good, he's been known to set people off, which is fine by him. He would hate to be the boring one of the group. Mark, his best friend, is a big enough guy to ward off anyone anyway. Almost every night, Kyle and Mark go to their favorite bar, Rocky's. They drink a few beers and play some pool. It's been a bit of a ritual for the guys for years. Of course, they take on any and all challengers and are known to be the best Rocky's has ever had when it comes to the game of billiards. They enjoy the spot because with the money that they win betting, a night out never costs them a dime. Enter Tuesday night. More than a few beers in, Kyle and Mark face some new competition. A guy and his boyfriend challenge the duo, bar tabs on the line. They've apparently heard the rumors of Kyle and Mark's skill, but they think they can take them on. The game begins and the heat is on. Things get intense. Of course, Kyle is bringing his A game of talking trash, but none of it seems to get to the guys. Their focus on the game is nigh unbreakable, and victory is inching ever closer in their direction. Kyle is getting nervous, his reputation on the line, so he resorts to some straight-up middle school tactics. He whips out the mom insult. It gets to one of the challengers. Turns out, his mom only died a few months ago. You can tell he's angry, especially considering such a childish insult is coming his way from a grown man. Instead of reacting decently, Kyle sees this as an opportunity to throw the guys completely off the game. He actually doubles down on the mom stuff. It's completely out of line, but Mark doesn't even try to stop him. He wants to win too. The competitor throws down his pool stick and actually gets in Kyle's face. He's ready to make this a fight. Good thing big old Mark is there. The guys step down as soon as Mark steps in. People always did. The guy and his boyfriend just leave, ignoring Kyle's insults, leaving the game being unfinished. Unfortunately, Kyle and Mark had to pay their own tab for once. Enter Wednesday night. Kyle decided to go to the bar solo. Mark had a date with some girl, but Kyle was still in the mood to drink. Only about one beer in, the guys from last night show up. Everyone kind of ignores each other, probably for the best. But eventually, Kyle goes to the alley for a smoke. A couple of drags of a cigarette in, out comes a competitor and his boyfriend. Before even a word can be said, the competitor slugs Kyle one right in the jaw. Kyle goes down hard, and the guys kick the absolute hell out of him for a few minutes before leaving and heading inside. Enter Thursday night. Mark rolls into Rocky's looking for the two guys. Kyle didn't want to go back so soon. He'd already had a long day dealing with coworkers asking about the bruises on his face. But Mark felt the need to avenge his friend. Not seeing them right away, he decides to check the alley, scene of the crime and all that. Sure enough, they're out there smoking and laughing, and enrages Mark. His vision turns red. He comes to a few moments later, standing over the two guys. Clearly, he had beaten them badly. He felt good, like he had done right by his friend. He gave the guys a classic, "Don't come back here again" line. Enter Friday night. Mark drags Kyle back to Rocky's under the guarantee those guys wouldn't be there. Turns out they weren't. Not up for playing pool, they just grab a booth in the back and have a couple pitchers of beer between them. A couple hours go by with plenty of laughs and drinks. The door to Rocky's swings open to reveal the newest set of patrons. The competitor and his boyfriend are back, and this time they brought two friends. Story end.
What? Why do you want to leave us hanging, Shyamalan?
I'm a cliffhanger kind of guy. Also kind of plays into the moral of the story.
Inflated egos are unnecessary.
Wow, interesting.
That was your choice for what the moral is?
Sure, why not?
I would say, I'm trying to think how to put it into words. My theory on the moral of that one is that if Your ego will never let you win. Like, you'll just keep going and going and going.
It's interesting. He has doubled or burrowed into the ego. The moral is cycles of violence. Yeah.
Explain, elaborate, enlighten me.
He needs to be enlightened.
Because I'm dumb, is what I'm saying. I mean, I feel dumb. So
I love when you say that. Those would make the podcast episodes so much better. No, because when people never let anything go. Kyle made fun of the guy's mom. Guys beat up Kyle. Mark beats up guys. Guys bring friends to beat up them, and it just keeps going. It's a never-ending cycle, like war.
Yeah, it's important for people to let things go. Let it go.
Yeah. Elsa told you to.
She did. She sang it to me.
Listen.
Oh my god!
You brought it up. You wrote the stupid story. It's your fault.
Hey,
don't call it a stupid story.
You wrote the wonderful story. I'm sorry.
It can be stupid. You're allowed a critical opinion.
Let's fight. I
would love to fight. That reminds me of my first question. Have you ever been in a fight?
Yep.
Yeah.
Like a true
Yep.
fisticuff battle? Love it.
Yep.
Tell me about it. What's going on?
You want to talk about them?
Not all of them.
Well, obviously I won every single time. Obviously.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I like that.
You should have seen the other guy. He was a dwarf.
Yeah, that explains it.
He was a third your size.
No, that guy kicked my butt. Well, Amanda, go ahead. You elaborate first.
I was just curious.
Amanda doesn't want to elaborate. I think.
I'm good.
I love it.
Let that go.
There's some drama there.
You
really don't have to get personal. It was just the first question. Apparently a softball.
You asked me if you want to elaborate.
All right, cool. Tell me about the time you beat a guy's face in.
I'm trying to think. Okay, well, once in high school, there was. I'm going to leave names out of it, and just protect the innocent.
They're innocent.
There was a guy who did something to a friend of mine and caused him a lot of personal damage, and then didn't want to pay for any of it. So I met him in a parking lot and told him he should, and he said no, and he was quite rude, and a fight ensued. And I
rhymed
won
at the end.
And I won.
You little Eminem over there.
That's right.
Wow.
And I only had one shot. I didn't miss my chance to blow.
Oh, you blew the guy.
I earned that.
That was good.
I earned that.
Well, your story, Aaron, pretty easily leads into my second question of, do you believe in the old adage, an eye for an eye?
Oh, now we're in the thick of it. We're in the thick of it.
Yeah, start with softball.
That's tough. Amanda, you have the floor. Since you don't want to tell us your dramatic
tell us your brutal war story. Man, have you been in a lot of fights? Sorry, quick interjection.
I wouldn't say that I've been in a lot, but I've been in enough to know who I can handle and how I can handle myself in situations.
Pinkies and toes?
I've never initiated a fight in my life. I mean, I've just
finished them.
My mouth has probably, actually I have. My mouth has probably started it. Like, I've probably said something that I didn't need to say. But,
you ever notice people never say, man, I suck at fighting. Every time I fight, I get my ass kicked. Nobody ever says that.
That would be the lame story.
Mine have all been defense. Mine have always been just defensive situations.
Okay.
But in terms of eye for an eye, I really don't subscribe to that belief because I feel like it perpetuates everything and it just continues the cycle of violence that you're already talking about. So I have a hard time with that, but I do believe that there should be consequences and punishments for people who do things that they shouldn't. And we've talked about this on other episodes too. But I just don't feel like just because two wrongs don't make a right, I guess is the easiest way for me to put it. And I believe that wholeheartedly. I feel like there are much better ways to go around taking care of a situation than doing the same thing to somebody that they did to somebody else, because then you're no better than them.
I used to believe an eye for an eye was the way to go. I firmly used to believe it. And in fact, I had such a temper in high school, in my youth and stuff, that I lived it probably a little too vividly. That if somebody did, and it was always the same thing, very defensive, but I was very aggressive in that respect, that I didn't think people should just get away with things. So I thought I was the justice police or something.
When I was in like my high school years, probably even middle school years, I was always the one to try to stand up and defend other people. But I did not always like just walk up to somebody and nail them in the face. It was just more of, I'm a tough girl, I'm stick up for them and say something to them. But I don't think that you need to start everything in response with violence. I feel like there are better ways to do it. And that could have just been through years of growing
No one
up.
ever tells stories about how they were the bully either.
No, they don't. You're right.
Man, I used to pick on small kids. It was so much fun.
Hey, my mouth, like I said, my mouth has probably started a lot of things. So I'm sure I've said some mean things.
You don't hear either one of us refuting that
Wow,
accusation.
thanks.
But
Spent a lot of time around you
I
guys.
hit you every episode.
Feelings mutual.
To elaborate on where I am now, though, I kind of adopted as I hit my 20s and stuff. My mom's theory, which she tried to instill in me, and I think she did. I just wasn't listening until I, turned a corner or whatever. That you are responsible for you. You have to be the bigger person in the situation, and you got to learn when it's time to walk away. You have to. Don't be the petty person. It's kind of like the old adage where if you go to work or school or whatever, and you're 5 minutes late every day, and somebody says you can't be 5 minutes late every day because you have to show up on time, and then that person always says, well, so and so is always late, or so and so is always, they're always pointing the finger to somebody else. My mom's mantra was always, you can't do that. You can't live your life that way. You're only responsible for you. It matters not what everyone else does. So you always have to be.
Yoda?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, she kind of was, and I just didn't listen for a long time. And when I started adopting that, it made it a little easier because you stop getting angry about things you can't control. You stop getting angry about other people's behavior. And actually, a lot of times you can turn people around because they see you being the bigger person.
Kill them with kindness.
Not necessarily kindness, just not vengeance, not retaliation, not, I guess it's a kind of kindness, sure.
Mm-hmm. I'm showing you a kindness when I don't kick your ass when you deserve it.
Wow.
One way to look at it. What about you, Zach? Where do you sit with this?
Quite a claim. Oh, yeah. Also, I have been in fights as well. Yeah, I didn't answer. But for the adage, eye for an eye, it's one of those tricky things again where on a grander scale, it would be great if people let things go and we didn't have to constantly bomb each other. But on a personal scale, I guess I kind of do believe in an eye for an eye.
You seem like a very vengeful person.
Yeah, I haven't hit the age, I guess, or whatever moment in life where Aaron was like, you know what, got to let things go. I do my darndest to not let things go.
You make sure that you are responsible for your actions and that everybody else is responsible for theirs too.
Yes. People should be responsible for their actions.
And you gonna make them learn.
If you don't, who will? They'll just keep doing it. And then nothing changes for them.
What if a ghost
bad people?
What if a ghost attacks you? Then what do you do?
Curb stomp that ghost.
Then he hits on it and tells it all of the wonderful things it wants to hear.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do tonight.
I do think, to elaborate on that, I do think there are degrees. There are some things, if I'm kind of with Texas in that, if more than two people see you do some horrible thing, you might get the chair. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with certain kinds of eye for an eye.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, I've got a scale and I open it up whenever I want. It depends on
Open to your interpretation.
How it affects me directly. Yep.
The world according to Aaron.
Well, tell me the truth. Everybody thinks that they have this set rule, but tell me your rules aren't bendable.
I've always said that mine are. Mine are all very contingent on the situation.
Absolutely.
But I don't think I would ever, in terms of taking a life, for example, I would never want to take somebody else's life just because they took somebody else's.
No, you don't. You pay someone else to do that. That's what happens. The state pays another dude to do that.
But I'm saying I just don't think that I understand the reasoning for wanting it to happen. I absolutely do. But I don't think that it's any person's right to make that call. Because if you can say, I or my government can make the decision to end somebody else's life because they did something bad, then I don't really think you're any better than the person who decided to take somebody else's life. You're just continuing and perpetuating that notion that it's okay to murder, and it's not.
Maybe you're taking out the trash.
In the same token, you are taking out trash. Yeah, I guess so. But not everybody, especially when it comes to the death penalty, can't always confirm that people have 100% done what they're being accused of.
That's why I say if more than two people saw what you did, Flower Power, that maybe...
I like that.
Yeah, it's got to be your Twitter handle.
Flower Power. That's a little bit too much for me. But no, I get what you're saying. I do. I get what you're saying. And it really does come down to the situation in terms of more minuscule type things. Like, if you beat up my grandma, I don't know, I'm probably...
No, that's an
we're gonna
ass
have some
kicking
problems.
waiting to
Yeah,
happen.
we're going to have
Yeah.
some problems.
Yeah.
But in
That'd be
terms...
tough to not do anything. I think that makes you a bad
Yeah.
person if you don't go beat that person up.
Anybody's grandma,
if you,
honestly.
if you don't handle something, I feel like at the very least, you might not have to do it in the exact same way. You don't want to go beat up their grandma. That doesn't make you any better. But you do want
I
to...
don't know. I want to meet their grandma. Obviously, they learned this from somebody.
Yeah, I'll teach them a lesson.
I'll hit your grandma so hard, you feel it. Violence of any kind is wrong, wrong, wrong.
Yeah.
Unless they have it coming.
And we did not tell you to do anything.
No.
We're not liable for your
You're
actions.
not advocating violence on this podcast of any sort.
Everybody
Do not-
is responsible for their own actions.
I'm advocating it.
That is Zack Parkerson at smirkpodcast.com. I think it's just Zack, actually.
Just Zack at Smirk Podcast.
To make sure it gets to the right person.
I don't want it.
What about you, Zack? What do you think?
You already said.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well,
Forgot.
I believe
Short
in it.
memory.
I believe in it firmly.
So what's your next question? Is there more? Do you want us to share more stories?
Tell me more. Tell me more.
Wow. Yeah, I want to get a little bit personal with the third question. Sorry. Jeez. What could set you off enough to throw the first punch, if anything?
That's easy.
Man, you mess with my family, we're going to have problems.
Yep.
Man, people are always so uppity about their family.
Hey, that can be people you choose to be your family or your blood family. I'm not saying that everybody I'm related to by blood I would defend. There's a lot of people I wouldn't.
What act would it take, though? I mean, just any, like they stole your grandma's purse. Is that worth punching somebody in the face? Or would it have to be more extreme? It would have to be something, an eye for an eye, so to speak. They had to punch your grandmother or loved one.
Poor
you.
grandmas, man. Had a rough time out there.
You know, I've sat on, I'll give you a personal story that I've experienced. My nan.
Oh, I didn't know you did those.
Yeah, my nan, she passed away a few years ago, but before she passed away, many years before that, probably like eight years, she actually had someone break into her house, 2 people break into her house, and they beat her nearly to death. They hit her in the head with a hammer. They don't know how she survived it because it was at her temple. Choked her with a phone cord, tried to drug her outside with that phone cord, which doesn't make sense because why would you drag them in front of the house on a busy street? Anyway, and tried to sexually assault her. So that person who did the majority of it, they ended up going to jail, and they're still sitting in jail. And I have email notifications on every action that they take. Anytime they're moved, anytime they have anything happen.
Be careful, because this is recorded. You don't want this going up in trial.
I get a notification. I would never, well, first of all, I'd probably be too scared to attack somebody like that. But I have thought on multiple occasions of confronting that person. So, because the second person in that scenario actually told person A, stop, you need to stop. We came here basically to steal her car. That's it. We did not come here to, she was asleep on the couch. You did not need to do this. I can see the scenarios where you would want to take care of those things or have them taken care of, but I just don't think I could ever get myself to do that. I think confronting them is probably the most you can do, but I don't think I would ever want to cause physical harm for somebody who's done something like that. Now, if you I don't know, if you punch me in the face, I'm going to hit you back for sure.
No, he said first. You throw the first punch.
That's right. The
Throw the
first.
first punch.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to
assume most
mediate.
people are going to swing back when they get hit.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to mediate things. and in most scenarios where I've been, there was one time where I almost attacked somebody, and I was in high school, and I have people around me who are like, she's crazy, just pull her back, and they just like remove me from the situation, and we're fine.
They're just like, BBC.
They're just like, Amanda has a temper, get her, move her away from this scenario, get her out of it. But I guess it would really have to take somebody assaulting my family in front of me, or if I saw somebody.
Why is it got to be in front of you?
Because if I'm not there, I have time to calm down and do something more rational.
Okay, that makes sense.
I'm much
That's
more,
logical.
if I see it something, I'm going to get impulsive and I'm going to say, I'm going to handle this as much as I can. I might get my ass beat, but still, I'll try.
Well, at least you'd mention that.
I think it would just give me more time to plot how best to hit them.
But I guess those are if I saw somebody harming someone else, I would try to intervene. And if that meant I needed to hit them, then I guess I'd hit them if it meant protecting somebody else. But if someone said the wrong thing to me, I'm past the point in my life where I immediately want to hit them. I have gotten to the point where I will try to just walk away.
I ain't at that point yet.
Y'all keep acting like not hitting someone's being grown up. I don't subscribe.
I don't subscribe, honestly. I do think it's the better. You should always try to be the better person. But if somebody hurt my mom or my kids, I don't have a problem with the first punch. And honestly, I don't see. You know what? Sometimes people, they only respond in a certain way. That's all I'm going to say. So yeah, I think there are circumstances, and there are. I don't really know specifically what it would take, but it wouldn't take much. If you hurt my mom and put her in the hospital or something, or assaulted her physically, like punched her in the face. That's getting you an eye for an eye. And it might get your other eye taken out. So
it might be an eye for two eyes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, preemptive eye.
What about you? It sounds like you would hit them just for the hell of it. Like they just showed up and, hey, Zack, how's it? What?
Zack, how's your dad doing?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really get super drunk anymore because I tend to look for a fight. That's true.
You're one of those.
Not. It's just like I'm quick. Yeah, I'm quick to swing. As opposed to like yelling. I want to cut through the nonsense and just get straight to what it's going to end up at anyway.
Well, but it doesn't need to end up there. I mean, unless it's really an extreme situation, how often does it need to end up in a fight? Really? Hardly ever. If ever. I've had a lot of arguments with people, and I haven't felt I need to punch you in the face. I can't walk away from the situation.
I don't punch everyone in the face.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying there are very few, if any, circumstances where there needs to be a fight of any kind. That's where ego comes in. People feel like they've been slighted or they've been offended because somebody said something that hurt their feelings. Well, look, Snowflake, it's just not going to work out for you. The world is full of people that are going to say mean things and your feelings are going to get hurt, and you're just going to have to walk it off. You don't need to resort to those extremes. Every time you don't like something someone says, words hurt. They don't physically hurt.
Right, but if you make them physically hurt, maybe they'll stop hurting you emotionally.
Well, they can't talk if they have a broken jaw, I guess, is one way to look at it.
There's always that. There's that, too.
But then I would say in those circumstances, then the problem is probably the person that's doing the fighting. It's not.
Think so?
Yeah, absolutely. If you can't mentally walk off a wounded word, I don't see how that's not the person who throws that first punch's fault.
I think there needs to be some sort of instigation on the other person's end that's severe enough for you to do it.
Yeah, swing. That's the only reason I can see like really fighting with someone is if someone swings first. Now, self-defense, hey, I'm all for it. Mm-hmm. But just words, I didn't like what you said, told a mama joke, and then I'm not going to hit somebody from that. If anything, I'm going to make more fun of them and make them very, very sad that they made fun of me. That's what you do. Insult them more.
Don't rise above people.
Hey,
be exactly like them, but do it better.
I firmly believe violence is not the answer, but wit will save you every time. I can't tell you how many fights I got out of for making people sad that they started talking to me. That's what you do. Be quick, be sharp, be angry.
I appreciate
clever.
that. I appreciate clever.
Rising above is something sad teachers tell their students.
That have just given up.
Yeah.
Like, this is the best we can do.
They've hit their rut in life.
Well, this is turning into a sour podcast. What else you got?
Well, it's Zack's story, so what'd you expect?
Week. What do you want from me? That tends to happen.
He apparently woke up and he's like, I want to punch somebody. Let me write a story about that.
I went to the principal's office my first day of kindergarten for getting in a fight.
That
really?
Doesn't surprise me. I'm not surprised at all.
On the bus trip to school.
So were you a bully? Because it sounds like you're a big, angry kid.
No, I just didn't really take to getting bullied.
You know what? The mantra of this podcast should be Zack needs hugs because he still needs one.
My mom's taught me stand up for yourself.
Maybe she's taught you to stand up and go ask someone for a hug. You ever think of that?
Should've. Hey, guys. Do you think the story is truth or fiction?
Truth.
Fiction.
It's fiction.
Okay.
Dang. I thought it was maybe your story. Like maybe.
I was really starting to feel sad for you.
I'm
just getting really, really sad. I'm like, oh, poor Zack. He's got a sad story.
I wouldn't insult somebody's mom.
No, but I think you'd punch someone if they insulted.
No, wait a minute. Why not? What if their mom is a jerk?
Yeah, well, okay, fine. If I know their mom personally, I know they're a jerk, I wouldn't hesitate to tell them that their mom is a jerk.
Yeah, there you go.
I tell my best friend his parents are miserable all the time.
Wow, you're so loving and endearing.
He thinks they're miserable too.
You're such a joy. You're like a joy buzzer is what you are. I think it's going to be joyful.
If you knew the origin story, you'd agree.
What's that?
that if you knew the origin story, you'd agree.
The origin
The
story.
origins. You're not Batman.
I love Batman.
Full circle. You're not Batman.
Uh,
Oh, that's funny. Okay, so what is the title of your story? What's the title of that one?
Rockies.
It works.
It's the name of the bar.
Yeah, I remember. It was only
Sorry,
like 20
don't
minutes
give
ago.
Didn't want to give it away in the title.
Well, the titles are always listed. That's what the show is named.
I know. That's why I didn't want to give it away.
Oh, gotcha.
Jeez, man.
Jeez, man. All right, well, as our show goes, we will...
You.
You want to punch me now? Is that what you said? You want to fight?
Yes.
no, boys.
I will...
Those are actually pretty decent, like cheesy sound effects.
Hey,
You're
soundboard? What's that?
He's been practicing.
I'm in
way too
Korean films right now. I will get you all.
It reminds
well.
me of Mortal Kombat games. No? Okay. I guess not.
We just left you hanging.
Yeah, that was kind of fun.
You're welcome. All right. Well, as our show goes, we will occasionally pick listener stories to read and discuss on Smirk. If you'd like a chance to have yours read, email it to mystory@smirkpodcast.com. Also, we are taking collections for therapy for Zack. So if you'd like to donate to that, please let us know.
No, I refuse therapy. Doesn't that just seem like the most sensible? Doesn't it seem like the most sensible option for me?
Send virtual hugs to Zack at Smirk
And
Podcast.
You know what? If you want to send me a hug on Twitter, I will smile.
Aw.
Will
How
you?
about that? I would smile.
Hmm.
Not from you, Amanda.
Okay.
Jeez. That just got angry. Well, join the conversation by joining our Facebook group or follow us on Twitter at Smirk Podcast, and be sure to use the show's hashtag Smirk. Don't miss an episode. Be sure to subscribe to Smirk on your podcast app of choice and check out our website at smirkpodcast.com. We're also on Spotify if you didn't know that, if you use Spotify.
And as you tell your own life story, remember to tell it with a smirk.
Seriously, do you want a hug? Because we can hug.
Wow. Yeah, hug. Dude, I'm just trying to be myself on this podcast, okay?
Just angry and sad.
You know, in
I want to
time,
punch people in the face.
this will be like a very therapeutic thing
Yeah,
for you,
about
Zack.
100 episodes in, I'm going to be all turned around.
Yeah.
Aw.
You know,
Finish him.
Still looking for a fight. But.
Finish him.